Champions for Change, as I hope you know, is trying to look through the eyes of today's top athletes at a world in the grip of global warming through photographs, but also scientific explanations and athletes' personal stories. Champions for Change tells the story of how climate change is reshaping our planet and how the sports community also is helping to fight back. In the spirit of the United Nations, it's a book which is very international. I think we have 38 different athletes featured in the book from 11 different countries, all of whom have displayed great personal integrity and commitment to sustainability. You will see that the book also touches upon, looks at the issue of climate change from the variety of sports, from the perspective of a variety of sports, from soccer to golf to swimming, running, cycling, surfing, snowboarding, sailing, skateboarding. I'll stop here, but I think you get the picture. Everybody literally has a chance in this book among the athletes to talk about climate change and how it affects them. So, without further ado, it is now my pleasure to give the floor to Undersecretary General Kiyo Akasaka, who, as you see, authored the foreword for the book.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Good morning, everyone. I'm very delighted to be here this morning. I'm happy to welcome Jane Poynter, the author of this wonderful book, Champions for Change, to the United Nations. I'm also very happy to welcome the many environmentally active young people joining us. And of course, a very warm welcome to the distinguished athletes here with me on the podium, each of whom has accomplished extraordinary sporting feats. I'm very much interested in sports. I'm sure that every one of you is a sportsman or sportswoman of one kind or another. I'm interested in swimming, bicycling, or skiing in particular. But over the last 12 years or so, I spent two end-of-the-year holiday in mountain skiing stations without snow. It was such a disappointment, but I must say that what unites all of the athletes here today and in Champions for Change is their witnessing of and concern about the alarming and rapid changes that are taking place in our global environment. They have come together through this creative project to inform and motivate the international world of sports and millions of sports fans everywhere about the urgent need to join in the fight against climate change and environmental degradation. What's special about this initiative is that these athletes recognize that large-scale sporting events can have a negative effect on the environment. As you can see from emissions generated by thousands of fans as they drive or fly to watch their favorite teams or players, to the energy required to power giant stadiums, to the mountains of plastic bottles and other waste left behind after a sporting event. But they also recognize that sports can contribute to making the world a better place. These athletes believe that, as the United Nations believes, that sports can and must be part of the solution. Clearly, the carbon footprint of sporting events can be reduced in many ways. The use of renewable energies and efficient designs can make sports more sustainable and less energy intensive. New ways to produce, consume, and discard will also ensure that fewer resources are wasted. These sportsmen and women communicating to people everywhere the importance of protecting our environment. The message is clear. We each have the ability to make a difference. This message could not be timelier. This is a very timely event because climate change is already happening and is happening faster than scientists estimated just a few years ago. It is, as the United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has stressed, the defining issue of our time. We must act now if we are to avoid crossing dangerous climate change thresholds. The United Nations is working to seal the deal, as you see those the stamps, on climate change. An international deal is necessary to protect people and the planet and to catalyze the green energy revolution of the future. A deal for the climate is also a deal for development. It can help save billions of people from lives of poverty and can contribute to the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals. We are only about 1 month away. The conference on climate change by the United Nations in Copenhagen is going to start on the 7th of December. And that is going to be a very important conference. There is tremendous activity by governments to shape the outcome of that conference. A new climate agreement or some sort of a political agreement in Copenhagen would enable the world to avoid the worst effects of climate change and the political and economic instability they could precipitate. But significant steps have to be taken towards achieving a deal that involves all countries, developed and developing, working together towards a common long-term goal to limit global temperature rise. As Eric just mentioned, I have been involved in some environmental negotiations, and I know how important this conference and all the negotiations are. And those negotiations need your support, need your encouragement, and appeal to the government to do more. Efforts like these great athletes and students we have here today, this morning, assure me that we will succeed in making a difference. And while we can't all be sports champions as they are, we can be all champions for change. So thank you very much for being with us today, and you would have very exciting moment of press conference of these great champions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiyo. We have a number of colleagues from the UN family who are also with us today, and I would like to especially recognize the presence of Juanita Castaño, who is the director of the Office for the UN Environment Program, and I think we also have representative of the office of Mr. Willy Lemke, who is the special advisor of the Secretariat General on sport for peace and development. I would now like to introduce Jane Poynter, who is the initiator and author of Champions for Change.